Yo guys, what's going on? Acez is here today with another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some things that I would add to Escape from Tarkov to make the experience better. Do me a favor, make sure you're dropping a like, and of course, make sure you're subscribing to the channel. This video was inspired by watching Tweak react to Pest about stuff that Pest would add, and then Tweak threw in a couple comments about stuff he would add. So now I'm making a video about stuff that I would add. This should probably come out like what, June 22nd, somewhere in there. I'm recording it on the 18th. You know, if anything changes in 4 days as of an update or BSG announcement with any of these things that I talk about, which it's extremely unlikely, I didn't know about it. So that's your warning. All right, man, I wrote down 5 things and there is a little bonus thing at the end. So a total of 6 things that I would add slash change slash do with Escape from Tarkov. Number 1 is incentives to play the game. Right now, there, in my opinion, is no reason to play past level 42. Once you get max traders, it's kind of like, okay, it's do whatever you want. There's not really something to give you a goal-driven mindset. For me personally, in Escape from Tarkov, every single wipe, it's get a thick case. And once I get my first thick case, then I kind of lose motivation because it's like, well, now I have this thick case. Now what? I don't really have an objective. Before thick cases, it was always get to max traders, and I just didn't have an objective before that. And then, many wipes ago, it was get Kappa, but I quickly realized that that was mentally exhausting. So I haven't gone for Kappa in quite a long time. But basically, add more incentives to play the game, man. And it really does break down to adding a prestige system. And that is essentially get to level 42 or get to level 50, get to level 70, get to level, what is max level, 81, 71, something along those lines. Let's just say, let's put at a baseline of 50. I think 50 is a very achievable level for almost every single player in the game over the course of a wipe, and potentially multiple times. Obviously lower XP in the first like 25 levels are extremely easy to run through. And then, it does start getting a little bit crazier, but as you do those gunsmith tasks and stuff, things go a little bit quicker. When it comes to a prestige system, maybe at level 50, you can prestige and then go back to level 1. You lose everything in your stash, but you'll get maybe like a prestige token you can use on something, and we'll get into cosmetics in just a moment. But there's been the thing, I think Tweak said it, or maybe it was Clean, or one of these guys, Slush, Pest, somebody, where the color of your dog tag changes every single prestige level. And maybe there's 5 prestiges. You have bronze, silver, gold, and then rose gold, and a whole bunch of other colors, right? Shit like that would be really cool. And it doesn't even have to be dog tags. It could be maybe you unlock a different clothing item, or something along the lines of that. Different name color if you're EOD. Right now our names are goldish orange or yellow. And, maybe if you prestige 5 times, you can change that to any color you want. Red, blue, green, something really cool like that. Just incentives to play the game more. Cosmetics is number 2. I'm not talking about hot pink fucking visors and fucking let me get some clown shoes on. No, I'm talking about realistic cosmetics that are either unlockable through the prestige system, or after you prestige, then you can pay X amount of rubles once you hit X level to unlock a ghillie suit, or unlock just a straight up ACU camo for USEC, or just unlock other clothing items that is only available to bears if you're a USEC, or vice versa. More cosmetic availability. And I would love to be able to put some very light spray paint on my weapon. I don't want to have a rainbow camo on my weapon, but, if I want my, tan M4 to be a little bit darker so it doesn't stick out on certain maps, or if there's a situation where somebody has a flashlight and my barrel is, coming around a corner, I would probably like it to be all blacked out rather than, having a tan handguard on and get a 1 to 2 second reaction time disadvantage. There's very small, minute things like that in Tarkov that do matter, just like the clothing that you wear in Tarkov does matter. So my second thing would be some sort of cosmetics, and they could go crazy with that, even into the microtransactions, as long as it's not altering any of the weapon stats and not a pay to win type deal. I think cosmetics can only help Escape from Tarkov. Now, the next thing is something that has been discussed pretty often in the community, but I'm going to take a different approach. A lot of people want kill cams. I actually don't want kill cams. I think kill cams would probably ruin Escape from Tarkov, especially in squad play. I personally am a solo player, so it wouldn't matter to me. But definitely, you don't want a kill cam in the middle of a raid, so you can call out the enemy. It doesn't make any sense. Now, the argument to that is do it after the raid, and that is where basically I'm going to inject my suggestion. Post raid footage. Now, it'll probably be a lot of stress on some aspect of the game, performance or server load or something, if the entire raid is being recorded, especially if you would be free camming in that footage. So, my caveat to that was just record the perspective of the players in the lobby. So if there's 12 PMCs, there's 12 recordings happening in a raid, and the moment one of those players dies, that recording can stop. You don't necessarily have to record player scavs, but I think all PMCs should have their player gameplay recorded. Now, there's obviously going to be instances where there is desync. So to counteract this, if you could report players based on a certain bit of footage, I think a player has to be on a strike system, and there also has to be a visible ping at all times when watching the footage. So if a player gets, desynced, or somebody's like flying for 2 seconds, there needs to be a ping level for that footage. If the player you're watching's perspective is on 120 ping and you go to the other player's perspective and their ping is on 30, there is a possibility for desync there. So I think if we could have post-raid footage of just the first-person perspective of each player in a raid, viewable by anybody in that raid, with a visible ping and maybe some stats, their KD, their accuracy, their level. Doesn't have to be their exact username. Maybe it could be, I guess you would know if you died to them. But, there is a bunch of different iterations you could do with that. But I think some form of post-raid footage with other statistics to counteract some variables of desync, of lag, of whatever, it should happen. Now, the next one's going to get some people upset. I have 3 different options for this one. Open flea market, so anything goes. Literally anything goes. No restrictions like the old days, like, 12.3 or 12.6. That was one of the last patches that had the non-founded raid flea market. So completely open flea market, completely closed flea market, which I'm more against other than the open flea market. When you have an open flea market, RMT, real money trading becomes less of an issue, in my opinion. You could have the closed flea market, which would essentially probably make raids a little bit worse because you're going to have either rage hacking or carries. And then there is the complete other option, which doesn't really involve cheating at all, is a don't allow barter items on the flea market. Now, that's going to be the one. The reason I say this is, for me personally, when playing Escape from Tarkov, when I find that barter item that is at 250,000 rubles or whatever it's at on the flea market right when the wipe happens, when I find it in raid, it's a really good feeling. I feel like I just made 250k. It's a great feeling getting those items out of raids instead of just buying them. It just feels good. It feels rewarding. And if you've ever played hardcore Tarkov, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about this feeling. I think that you should not allow barter items on the flea market. I think ammunition's fine. I think literally everything that you use every single raid, meds, etc. I think all of that is fine. But when it comes to barter items, I think it really does incentivize looting in the game. And if that's not what Battlestate Games wants, I think they should remove all barter items off of the flea market to actually force you to play the game. That's just my opinion. If you are buying all of your barter items, you could probably say, now don't get me wrong, I love saving time. I'm a big time advocate, especially when playing Escape from Tarkov. But if you buy all your barter items off of the flea market and you grind money in the first week or two of the wipe, you could probably save yourself between 20 to 60 hours worth of work by just buying everything. So it's like, do you want the immersion of the game, or do you want to save time off your life? Obviously, we want to save time off our life, but if right now I'm not even playing Escape from Tarkov, I think I'd rather play the game than, and just enjoy it for what it is, and get that rush of finding a barter item I need, rather than just being like, oh, hey, here's bolts that are 20k right now, and that's it. No feeling, no emotion towards it. So, a couple different options there. I think the flea market needs adjusting again. But when it comes to the ammunition, the armors, and everything like that, and adding labs key cards back on the market, I think that's in a good place. So just some fine tuning there. This next one and the final one on the main five is my biggest request, and I saved it till the end because this is probably going to be a slightly divided one, 50-50, I'd say. Stop quest locking items. And I literally mean do not have items in quest that are locked. Those same items that are locked in level 40 and 50 task, just put it in the level 4 trader. It's like I'm already going to have to be level 42. So it's like, why put shit in a level 50 task? It doesn't make any sense to me. There's a lot of items in the game being quest locked now, and it makes no sense to me because tasking, questing, whatever you like to call it, is the reason I stopped playing Tarkov completely. I cannot stand shoreline task. I don't want to go to downed UAVs and spend 20 minutes of running every single raid and dying in half of them. It is the worst experience in the game, and they've added daily quests, weekly quests, and I don't know if they're doing monthlies, or if they still have plans or like events and stuff, whatever, but the addition of daily and weekly quests has allowed you to not need to level up traders and tasks. But if they quest lock items, then it kind of defeats the purpose of a daily and weekly, in my opinion, because you still have to do the task anyway, because the items are locked. It doesn't make any sense to me. So that's actually my biggest complaint. That is my number one, and I saved it for last because I figure more people will, stick through the beginning of the video, where I think incentives and cosmetics and flea market changes are a little more important than my own feelings and emotion coming into it. Now, this last one, a little bonus for you, and you can click off of the video now if you want. That's perfectly fine. Thank you so much for stopping by. But this last one, is just gonna be it's not gonna happen. So that's why I saved it and made it a bonus. Offline progression. Offline progression, in my opinion, which AKA single player, or co-op, whatever. I think it would completely eliminate the cheating in the game. I genuinely do. The only people that would be cheating are the people who just have nothing better to do with their life and are just sorry sacks of shit. The people that rage hack and or people that just genuinely find enjoyment, like a fetish of cheating. They have a fetish for cheating, right? So I think offline progression completely removes cheaters that loot and cheaters that, kill you for your loot. That completely takes them out of the game. Because all the cheaters that are real money trading, they can just go in offline raids and just cheat kill all the bosses constantly, and battle state games can catch them way easier. And they don't have to do it online. They can just do it at their own rate, without any pressure at all, offline. So not only does it take a lot of cheaters out of our raids, but it puts them in their own raids. They're not bothering anybody, and Battlestate probably has a way easier chance to catch them if they can monitor all offline progression. If there's a guy that has killed Killa 250 times with 100% accuracy in offline, then it's probably a cheater. If there's a guy getting 10 GPUs out of offline raids every hour, obviously limits to your backpack and whatever, it's kind of like, hey, this guy's probably got some sort of loot radar or whatever the fuck they use nowadays. Loot teleportation. They just transfer it in their fucking bag, whatever. Offline raids with progression. I've been such an advocate. I think single player is just going to massively help the entire game, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. Offline progression, where you could actually do something with the flea market and transfer that loot into multiplayer raids, is a whole nother beast. And, you know, I don't know how that would be incorporated, but I think some way, shape, or form there should be single player access. And I say it time and time again, at a $20 single player DLC. Let Battlestate Games cash the fuck out. Even if that shit's $20 and 50,000 people pick that shit up, it's still a million. It's still a quick million. Like Nikita, that's literally like a fucking Lambo, my guy. Just click single player button, get Lambo. It sounds like a great deal. So that's just my opinion, guys. Let me know what you're thinking about some of these changes. Longer video, and honestly, no negativity really at all. And I know some of you guys are enjoying some of the content lately. I've been trying to go at things with a little bit of a different perspective, and you know, obviously, we're gonna be trying Tarkov again at a more casual rate next time on the wipe. And yeah, man, I've just been trying to come at it with a different perspective and just not be as negative. There's definitely things that need to be talked about that are going to be negative, but there's definitely a lot of other stuff I haven't talked about that doesn't have to be negative. So hopefully you're enjoying the content. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.